What's up, everyone? Welcome to another video produced by the Sawduster Society, and of course, I'm your host Elijah. In this video, I'm actually glad to really be diving back into the gig economy to a certain extent because I know y'all want more content about that. If you want to know a story on why I'm back in the gig economy, you can check this video out that's on the screen. But I want to start a new series that's going to kind of appease like a lot of the old school fans or people that have been with me since the beginning, the app lifestyle days, and also the people who are subscribed that really want to know about all side hustles and developing the trader skill. So regardless of which camp you fall into, most people will probably find themselves playing around with the gig economy, whether it be Uber Eats or Doordash or rideshare, Uber, Lyft, etc. So this video is going to be the first in the series to really show you exactly how to maximize your money in the gig economy, whether you be a delivery driver or a rideshare driver. And for you delivery drivers, you might be wondering, why does it matter for me to know anything about rideshare if you're not going to do it? It actually has value because there are two things that influence how much money you're going to make that are outside of your control, but if you know what's going on, you can use it to your advantage. That is the demand, which means how many people are requesting deliveries or how many people are requesting rides, and the amount of drivers, whether it be rideshare or delivery drivers on the road. So if it's popping on rideshare and you know that there's less drivers delivering because most rideshare drivers will pick rideshare over delivery, which means it might be a good time for you to get out there and drive. So regardless of who you are, you can take some away from this video. As usual, I'll be looking down to check out my notes. But like I said, you got to keep in mind that everything I'm going to talk about in this series is based on that demand and driver balance. So this video is going to be focusing on the daily cycle of the gig economy. So what times are best to drive and do what during what times? So for those of y'all that are morning birds, like really morning birds, like if you had a corporate job, you'd be getting up early in the morning to start head towards this, or if your first shift in some kind of warehouse job, you might be able to get down with this. But between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. is a great time to actually do rideshare, because that time frame is when people need rides to their work. And if you want to push it a little earlier, airport requests tend to start at 4 a.m. So if you're willing to get up that early, you will find some people that need to get a Lyft, no pun intended, or Uber or Lyft to the airport. So if you're willing to get up that early, then you can take advantage of rideshare during that time frame. Now there is a drawback, and the drawback is you're going to bump into these people that are letting their kids Uber or ordering Uber for their kids to take them to school, like elementary kids and middle school kids. I personally have no interest in doing that. I'm just letting you know that that does come with driving during these times. But the good news is we can see where we're going. So if you see some ping that's going to a school, which I'm going to zoom in to see if it's going to a school, you know not to take it if you don't want to do it. Keep in mind, though, it could be a teacher Ubering, but I just don't want to take that chance. Moving on throughout the day, the next time of activity when it comes to the gig economy is for delivery drivers between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Although if you wanted to, you could actually push 11 a.m. back to 10 a.m. because sometimes in some areas there are people who are still ordering breakfast. They will start picking up during that time frame. Just keep in mind that most restaurants don't open until 11 a.m. That's when all restaurants tend to be open. So your options will be limited. So check your Uber Eats app like around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. just to see what's open. And that can help to inform you where you want to kind of set up shop as far as getting your pings. For example, if there's a string of Denny's and IHOPs kind of like in this immediate area, like a circle, well, you want to center yourself in the middle because those spots will be open for the breakfast time of 10 a.m. But minus that, after 11 a.m., everything is fair game. Just keep in mind that people will be ordering lunch during this time. So the restaurants that have a lunch theme tend to get more requests. What is that? Like, let's say Subway is a good example, Quiznos. But just keep in mind that those are the restaurants that will probably be getting the more pings. But take some feedback in your local area on what restaurants are popping, and that can help to inform you on where to set up shop. Now, it tends to be slow for rideshare during this time frame, so if you are going to do it, then you should probably be wanting longer rides, because the longer someone is in your back seat, the more money you're making. And I didn't say this about the 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., but generally speaking, you kind of want short rides. And what's a short ride? I say anything under 5 miles would be a short ride. So you can go ahead and drop them off and move on to your next delivery, and you could get the maximum benefit off of surge. Since surge is now, what do they call it? Flat rate surge instead of the surge that is calculated per mile. Once that passes, there's a universal dead time between 2 and 4, which is usually just nothing is going on. No rideshare, no delivery. So this is actually a great time for you to get something to eat. And anytime there's a gap between time periods where not much is going on, like there was another gap I didn't cover between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. where it's just kind of slow on everything. That's always a good time for you to take a rest yourself and grab something to eat. But the next time period that starts to pick up again is rideshare between 4 a.m. and 7 p.m. This is when those people that you took to work, they need an Uber or Lyft home. So I'm pretty sure you're happy to help them out with that. Once again, during this time period, it'd be awesome if you can get a lot of short rides so you can maximize the profits. Although there are a lot of people going to the airport during this time period too. So just keep that in mind if you want to entertain that or not. During this time period, the airport is kind of on my way home, so I'm a little biased. But the thing is, unless I'm going home, I might not want an airport request. The next time frame is between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. So that's the time frame where people are placing orders for dinner time because they got home from work and they're too lazy to cook. So it's time to order Uber Eats or Doordash. And I'm not insulting anyone because I'm that person who'll be too lazy to cook sometimes. So I start ordering around then too. So delivery tends to be pretty popping during those hours. Now, if you're looking at the time frames, you'll see that there's actually a lineup. Rideshare between 4 to 7, delivery between 5 to 10. So between 5 and 7, it's sizzling on both sides of the coin. It's hot on delivery and it's hot on rideshare. So if you do both, you really can get the best of both worlds and really just maximize your cherry picking. Like, hey, I'm not accepting anything unless it's this amount of money. What that is up to you based on your market and how much you know you can make. But now that we've covered all the daily time frames that are sizzling with activity, that kind of concludes this video because we're focusing on the daily cycle in this video. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the weekly cycle, like what days are best for rideshare and delivery. I didn't say this about the daily cycle because I'll cover it in the next video, but everything I said here doesn't really apply for the weekends because even though it's valid for the weekends tend to be fairly busy all day. So the dead periods of time that I mentioned, it will be slower, but there's still activity there. So theoretically, you may find yourself still getting pings during that time frame, so you could probably keep going versus during the weekdays, which is what the daily is more so catered towards when we're talking about this. That is when these are like these dead times, you won't get anything. It'll just die. So you might as well go back home and watch TV or do something else or get something to eat. But that concludes this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Good news, I'm actually getting my bookcase delivered to my new spot later today. So we may be done filming videos in the car finally, and we can get back to my set. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And if you're looking for something to listen to in between pings on rideshare or while you're delivering food, you should check out my book, The Anatomy of Financial Success, which is available on audiobook, and you can get it for free by clicking on the link in the description below for a free Audible trial. I'll catch you in the next video. Be safe, be profitable, everyone.